645-495. State of Texas versus Ashley Nicole Leyva. The allegation is DWI with a blood alcohol content of 0.15 or higher at this time. Ms. Leyva, would you please raise your right hand? You solemnly swear that in this proceeding, the information and responses you submit will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Thank you. You may put your hand down. Ms. Leyva, before we proceed, I'm going to verbally discuss with you specific rights and protections that you have. This particular discussion will be listed or will be recorded by the court reporter, Ms. Kayleen Rivera.
Okay, yes, Your Honor.
The first right you have is the right to remain silent. That means you do not have to make any kind of statement. You don't have to answer questions, and you don't have to submit paperwork, especially papers that admit or confess to wrongdoing. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
You also have a right to a jury trial. That means that you and your attorney and the state's attorneys would select 6 people from a random pool of from a jury panel. Those people would hear the evidence and decide whether you were guilty or not guilty if you wanted a trial. Do you understand you have a right to a jury trial?
Yes, sir.
You have the right to what's called a right to appeal. I'm sorry, I'm going to discuss something else first. You have the right to confront any witnesses if you go to trial. That means that you can ask questions, cross-examine, challenge any witness who would testify. You understand you have that right?
Yes, sir.
And you have the right to appeal. That is a right that you can exercise by yourself or your attorney by himself or the two of you together. That is, you could make a demand of a higher court to review the official record, the evidence, and the results of this hearing or this plea. If you chose to do that, you'd have to follow the right paperwork and the right time limits. You understand that is called a right of appeal.
Yes, sir.
You also have a right to have your hearing and your trial in a public courtroom. That right, because of the COVID pandemic, is not being carried out. You do have the right to demand it. What we're doing is we're having this hearing by video conference. Now, you have that right, and so does the state individually. So both of you have to consent in order to do this by video conference. Now, I've talked to you about 5 different types of rights and protections. If you persist, if you go ahead and enter a plea, you give up all 5 of those rights: right to remain silent, right to jury trial, right to confront witnesses, right to appeal, and the right to a public forum. The video conference is being put on the YouTube, and that makes it public. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, I'm going to show you some documents. Now we'll discuss it in writing. Those documents have been made available to you and your attorney. All of them start off at the top, with one exception. They start off at the top with identifying information.
Okay.
This one identifies the case number 645-495, the state of Texas versus Ashley Nicole Leyva in County Court of Law number 5, Bexar County, Texas. That is the identifying information that will be, for the most part, repeated on all the different documents. This particular one, after the information that we talked about, it has the title State's Consent to Video Conference. That those titles of the document are in bold print and they're all capitals. This is the one where the state has agreed to video conference instead of in the open public courtroom. Did you review this and understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, the next one is what's called a discovery acknowledgement. There's a law that's called Article 39.14 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. That article or that law requires the state of Texas, the prosecutors, to make available to you and give to you any disclosures or receipts or documents or videos or anything that's of evidence so that you can make an informed and intelligent decision. This one is signed by your attorney and the state's attorney, declaring that that law has been obeyed, it's been followed. Are you aware of that?
Yes, sir.
All right. The next document is your document where you consent to the video conference. You're aware that you did that
Yes.
and you signed it. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. The next document is called Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions. It starts off like the others with the identifying information. Then it has three significant sentences. The first one says, you don't need me to read to you what you're accused of, the official papers. It says, you know that you're charged with DWI with a blood alcohol content of 0.15 or higher, which means you were charged with extreme intoxication. The third sentence says, you declare that you're entering a plea of nolo contendere, no contest. A nolo contendere in this court is taken as a guilty plea, but you're doing that to driving while intoxicated. That means that the state is going to drop this from a extreme intoxication to a class or to a DWI first level of DWI. From there forward, down after those three sentences, you have this document is divided into 15 parts. You might say that some of them are a sentence, some of them are paragraphs, but they're divided into 15 parts and they're numbered individually. The first, number one, says that your punishment for DWI first is anywhere from $0 to $2,000 fine and 72 hours to 180 days in jail. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second one talks about, again, the right to a jury trial, the right to cross-examine witnesses, and the right to remain silent. Did you see and understand that?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever been given or taken medication for mental health issues?
No, sir.
All right. All of the rest of these that are numbered, did you see and understand them?
Yes, Your Honor.
Number 8, where were you born, ma'am?
Here in San Antonio, Texas, in the United States.
And that makes you a U.S. citizen, and it will be so noted in the file. The rest of these paragraphs, some apply and some don't, but you have reviewed them with your attorney, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you understand what they say, and you have signed saying so, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. The next document, again, starts off with the identifying information, but this is my declaration for the record to you. It's called a trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal. There's a stack of boxes vertically stacked, and each one next to it, it says something about the right of appeal. The fifth box will be marked, and it says, again, this is the judge talking, me. This is a plea bargain case, and the defendant has no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And you signed that document.
Yes.
All right. Now, this document, again, with the identifying information, the title of this document is Application for Judge-Ordered Community Supervision Probation. Did you review this application carefully?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by what you're telling me by signing this document?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, a probation, just so you know very clearly, is a written, legal, binding agreement between you and this court. That agreement essentially is that in exchange for your plea, you will be given a specific punishment. including a jail sentence, but that jail sentence part will be suspended so long as you live up to 100% of the conditions of supervision. If you do that, it'll be completed and the case will be closed. If you violate that, then the state can ask me to have a hearing. And if the evidence supports it, then I can go ahead and put you in jail. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, when I say you have to live up to 100% of the conditions of supervision, those conditions will be read to you by the probation officers. You will, once they read it to you, you will sign them and you'll have a copy in your hands. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
All right. And you did sign this document where you applied for probation.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, this is the only document that doesn't have any kind of identifiers, but that's because this whole document identifies you. You're Ashley Leyva. You live at 639 Marbach Avenue. You're unemployed. How long have you been unemployed?
Since COVID has started.
Almost over 15 months or so.
Yes.
What were you doing for a living?
I was actually taking courses so I can start my own business.
Okay. What kind of business are you looking to do?
Body sculpting business.
All right. And what do you believe your income is going to be?
It would just depend because there's different services that I would provide, but I actually have my last class on Saturday, so they would actually give me like my starting prices as to what I can charge for starting my business.
All right. Now these the references you're giving us, you're not giving us the correct addresses, or it seemed like for your aunt. What is her address? Why don't we have that?
I don't know her exact address. I would actually have to text her and get it from her.
All right, I
And
want you to get that information on
okay,
your sister. Same thing, no
okay,
address. I need for you to get that.
okay.
All right. Now you have one child.
Yes.
What? How old is your child?
He will be 2 in September.
Oh, the terrible twos.
Yes.
You're going into that. Do you get child support for your
No,
child?
no.
Why not?
His father is incarcerated.
Oh boy. All right. Uh, you have one vehicle.
Yes.
It is in your name.
Yes.
All right. We need your social security number and your driver's license number, and I need you to put those on the documents.
Okay, I actually didn't even see the slots for that.
Well, your attorney should have pointed that out to you, but I'll require you to put that information in. Now, I am ordering you to, when we're through, you'll need to show up within 7 days. Show up in the offices of County Court of Law number 5. They are in the hallway behind the big courtroom. And you need to come in and have your thumbprint placed on the different documents that are required by law. And you'll need to finish that information on those documents that is missing. You
Okay.
understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, this is the plea agreement. First of all, you'll find that the documents, the first 2 boxes I will be marking. First of all, it talks about, again, the right to remain silent. The second box is a finding that you are a U.S. citizen. Then you have defendant's acknowledgements. There's 5 little boxes. Each one you've checked off. Did you understand what you were saying when you checked those boxes off?
Yes, sir.
All right, state you have a motion.
Yes, Your Honor. The state moves to waive and abandon the extreme intoxication enhancement, and the state moves to proceed on a DWI first.
All right. Defense?
No
Any
objections, Your Honor.
There being no objection, the court will mark those first that you have no objection, and secondly, that the motion is granted. Therefore, Ms. Leyva, you are officially charged with DWI first instead of DWI with extreme intoxication. Now, to the charge of DWI first, what is your plea officially?
No contest.
All right. The court accepts your no contest. You know and understand that a no contest plea is considered guilty by me, and I could, based on that alone, find you guilty. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. I accept your plea of no contest. I find you guilty. You're sentenced to 180 days in Bexar County Jail. That is probated for a term of 9 months. You will pay a $300 fine. I'm not sure that I want to give up or forgive you that $300 fine. You're driving a 2014 Cadillac. What kind of income do you have?
Right now I'm getting unemployment every 2 weeks.
And you've
But
been
as
doing that for about 15 months?
no, it didn't start maybe till 6 months after COVID.
All right, which would have been around September, October at the latest.
Yes.
But right now, you do not have income.
No.
What kind of money do you expect to be making now that you finished the schooling?
I would say about maybe like 1,500 every 2 weeks.
That's about $3,000. And you only have one child that you support?
Yes.
All right. I'll go ahead and leave the 300 probated. That means, ma'am, live up to all the conditions and you'll be fine. You don't even have to pay the $300.
Okay.
If you mess up, though, you'll be looking at the $300 fine. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, as part of the conditions, you'll need to, in good faith, file for, enroll, and complete the DWI education program, DWI victim impact panel, a TAP evaluation, and follow recommendations. For 4 months, you'll have the ignition interlock monitor on your car. During the entire period of 9 months of probation, you will not have any alcohol at all. Is that understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, your supervisory fee will be $25 a month. Let me tell you one thing, Ms. Leyva. You see on TV and you read a lot of times where a mother or a father were drinking and driving, had an accident and killed a kid, a child that they loved and cared for. Or somebody else drinking and driving killed innocent families or children. Be aware that that's the worst thing that could happen to you in your life. And when you are driving, if you'll remember, you were charged with extreme intoxication. I don't know whether you were or not, but you were charged with it. And apparently there was some evidence to show that. But the point is that you were well represented. And at this point, you're getting a DWI first. Keep in mind the danger that you constitute to your own child and to others around you. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Then Ms. Maricela Luna is going to visit with you. She's what's called a court liaison